Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Greco. I am a data analyst, but I'm also a pilot, private pilot, and I'm taking lessons right now in the R22, which is a helicopter. I have about almost 40 hours in that helicopter. It's really, really a great. I mean, it's the most fun anybody can ever have. Really, seriously, anybody can ever have is flying a helicopter. And I have a great instructor. His name is Jeroen, and he's just a Total Flight Solutions is the name of the school that runs this place in North Carolina. It's at Triangle Executive Airport, which is right near Lewisburg, North Carolina. So it's a really, really great opportunity to go and fly and do these types of things. And every single time, I just had a YouTube video on overspeed, which was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That's how long I've been taking the helicopter lessons, which is really funny. It's you got to kind of find the time and the money, that type of thing, to do this. So we're up there in the R22 the other day, and all of a sudden I get this warning light. So rather than going into trying to describe it, I think it's best to just go ahead and show you, right? So I'm just going to show you exactly what what happened. So this is from a GoPro camera. I have it on the inside of the windscreen, and you can see the blade turning here, and you can read some of the instruments. All right, so here's your airspeed here, right? And this is your manifold pressure here, which really kind of determines in a variable pitch prop. You also have a manifold pressure gauge here, and over here, if you could see, it would be the RPMs. But here is the altitude here. So we're about at 1,300 feet at this point in time. And I'm just going to play a little bit of this, and I want you to see this up in this row of lights. This row of lights is like unbelievably fantastic from the standpoint of being able in a minute to see everything that's going on in that area. And I think that's pretty important to be able to do that. So, and the one thing that they always tell you as a helicopter pilot is to constantly scan. Constantly scan, see if you have a light. Any red lights, that's a problem. You got to try to figure that out. So we're at this point, we're heading over to the residence where I live out in a place called Youngsville, and I'm just going to play a little bit of this, and you can see what's going on here. Now, again, we're at straight and level flight. It's relatively windy, but the doors are on the helicopter. Some cases the doors are off, some cases the doors are on. It was kind of a chilly morning, so I said, could we fly with the doors on? And Joan said, yeah, sure, we can do that. I mean, he's really great, really good instructor. So we're flying along here, and I just want to show you, I'm gonna just speed this up a little bit here. And I want to show you at this point where the light comes on, because I think that's important. And there it is right there. So about at this point, and it's about, a minute 34, the light comes on. This light right here is the carbon monoxide light, which means that there's enough carbon monoxide in that cockpit to be able to set off that light. Now, it's a sensitive light, which is good. You want a sensitive light. You don't want something that all of a sudden is going to just be, it's going to wait until you're basically, collapsed at the controls to be able to come on. So you want something that is relatively sensitive, and this is very sensitive. There were a couple of things that I did when I went back and I talking to Jeroen after this was all over with, and I said I added some oil. When I added some oil, I accidentally spilled some on the engine, and when you do that, it burns it, right? Because it's and I tried to get as much off as I could. But oil is oil, and if you've ever changed oil in a car, you know what it's like. And so it generates an after product when it burns, when it smolders like that. So that's something that could have happened. But of course, at this point, we're a minute 34, and at a minute 34, that's when you see the light. Now at this point, Jeroen, I told Jeroen, hey, we have a carbon monoxide warning light here, and he goes okay. Immediately opened up the vents, opened up the cabin air, all these things he did in a matter of about 10 seconds. everything was being done. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, he just, let's open up this, let's open up both vents on both doors, and to see if the light will go out. So at this point, there's a lot of things happening. And you can see this slight, overcorrection here while I'm trying to, we're trying to open up the vent doors, we're trying to do whatever needed to be done. We're at about 1,400 feet at this point. So we're still doing okay. I mean, from the standpoint of airspeed, the airspeed is up around 70, 80 knots. So or 70 knots. So we're doing pretty well. I mean, everything is going pretty well, and hopefully this light will go up, but it didn't go out. So now we're at 206. We're 30 seconds past this point at 206, still making sure that we're doing everything we need to do. And at this point, Jeroen says, I think it's about time we make a decision to head back to the airport. We weren't that far away from the airport, maybe 5 miles away from the airport. It wasn't that far a distance. It's never far distance from the residency anyways. So we went ahead at about 2:31. So this is a minute into the carbon monoxide, 1 minute, right? And we're already making a decision to, hey, let's head back to the airport. The light evidently is not going to go out because we're not clearing the air enough. So we're going to make the turn. So at 2:48, a little bit past a minute, we're making that turn. We're making that turn back to the airport. So you can see that everything that was done. And I love the way Jeroen is the instructor. As we're heading back to the airport, he goes, okay, I want you to explain to me what are the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning. So I gave him the symptoms. I'm an advanced ground instructor. I know this stuff. I told him I get dizzy, disoriented. Basically what's happening is that carbon monoxide is taking the place of oxygen in the blood, and it's going to be a problem. So we're heading back to the airport. Now, the interesting thing about it, and I won't show you the whole thing here. So we're heading back to the airport, and we're coming in, and so we're coming into the airport, and I may have to go to the next one here. I'm going to put a pause on this real quick. So at this point, we are going back to the airport. We're coming in for the landing, normal landing. Here's your carbon monoxide light still on. We've done everything possible to try to eliminate that. My prediction was we're going to head down there, and the minute we start to get into the hover, it's going to go away. Watch what happens. So we're coming down, not a bad landing. Everything looks good. We're coming in for the hover, and we're starting to slow down, and there's the light. Light went out at that point. So evidently what happened is that there was an issue having to do with the carbon monoxide light. The doors were both closed. The cabin air was off. Both vents on both doors were shut. And I think that the oil change and a little bit of that fumes and whatever else got in there, sensitivity, bang, came up real quick. So that's I just wanted to cover that with you real quick. Main thing is the minute carbon monoxide light comes on is to take all measures that you can at that point to clear that cabin air. And it was kind of cold morning, but man, let me tell you, I didn't care if it was cold or freezing or snowing or whatever else. I was going to open up those vents. That was the deal. So we opened up all the vents. We did everything we could to make sure that we could get enough air into that cabin. And then after about 30 seconds of that, then we decided to make the turn to the airport. And that's really, at that point, that was a really, really good decision. And it was done exactly at the right moment, because the further you get away from the airport, the further you have to get back. So you want to make that decision whether or not to make that turn sooner than later. And I think he did a great job on that. So all the kudos to the instructor. He did a great job, and making sure that everything was the way it was supposed to be. And that's it. Quick and dirty on carbon monoxide lights, and making sure that, especially in a helicopter, that is something that you take into consideration all the time. And remember, this is Lead with Love, right? Learn, offer, value, and educate. Offering you, a learning experience, right? This is what it is This is what we're talking about. And I learned something, and I wanted to share it with you to make sure you understand exactly what to do. And the nice thing about it was that, and he complimented me later, is that didn't panic, didn't say, oh my God, we got a carbon monoxide light, what do we do, type of thing. I had enough experience flying that that was something that I knew that had to be corrected, but I wanted to make sure he knew exactly it was on and what to do. And he showed me all the things that need to be done, which was really, really fantastic. So have a great day. Remember, learn, offer, value, educate, and take into consideration, even in your car. You start to feel dizzy, disoriented, and whatever else, open up those windows, because chances are there may be something having to do with that carbon monoxide. Take care. Have a great day.